video topic is how to get the most out of your home training. So I'm going to talk about a few different things: interval training, circuit training, and also ways in which you can intensify your current home workouts with and without equipment. If you want to get the most from your training, you need to focus on quality, not quantity. This means putting in maximum effort in a minimum amount of time to get you the best possible results. This is great news for those of you who don't have much free time, as you can actually optimize your workouts by applying some of the strategies that I'm going to go through with you today. So of course, for this to work, you need to be training at a relatively high intensity. So you need to be ready to get uncomfortable. There's a saying that I really like, which is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And that couldn't be more true. In order for your body to change, your muscles to grow, your body fat levels to come down, you need to provide your body with a stimulus. You need to challenge it. You need to send a message to your body that change is required. If you don't work hard enough, you don't create that kind of stimulus, your body is not going to change. If you're new to exercise, you've had some time off, or you're unfit at the moment, don't worry. You're not going to be able to work at a very high level of intensity at the beginning, but you can build it up over time. You just need to be getting to a level where you are feeling some discomfort, but not to a level where you feel pain. The two most effective ways to maximize your workouts are to do interval training and circuit training. Interval training is where you have bouts of high intensity exercise followed by periods of recovery. So an example of this could be, if you're using a stationary bike, you turn up the resistance level, you sprint as hard as you can for around 15 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to have around 60 to 90 seconds of recovery. So where you're pedaling at a slower rate, allowing your heart rate to come back down so that you can perform that activity again. Now, if you're at home, of course, you may not have a bike, you may not have a treadmill, you may not have any equipment at all, but that's okay. You can do bodyweight exercises and apply the same principle. So you find an exercise that's fairly challenging and you perform that exercise. It could be, how many burpees can you do in 30 seconds, just as an example. So you do as many as you can in 30 seconds, and then you might jog on the spot for 90 seconds, 60 seconds. Or just walk around the room and then do it again. Now, for interval training sessions, they're not going to last very long. Probably anything in the range from 15 to 30 minutes. If you do them correctly, that should be more than enough. Circuit training is where you perform a number of different exercises. Now, if you're at home, you can do this with bodyweight exercises in succession with little or no rest in between each exercise. The idea for this is to provide you with a full body workout. So the way that I would like to structure it is, you do an upper body movement, so let's say push-ups. Then you're going to go to a lower body movement, squats. Then you might do something for your abdominals, sit-ups. And then you have rest for a short period of time and you repeat the circuit again. So in between each individual exercise, there is no rest, but then you have a period of rest after you've completed all three exercises. Ideally, to get the very best results, you would combine both circuit training and interval training together. Not necessarily in the same session, but spread out throughout the week. So perhaps you would do circuit training on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you could do your interval training and have the weekend days as recovery days. This is just an example way that you might want to set up your training. In addition to circuit training and interval training, there are also ways in which you can intensify the workouts that you're currently doing at home, and this is with or without equipment. These workout intensifiers are not only great for building lean muscle, burning fat, but also for those of you who have less time on your hands, because you can get a lot more done in less time. The first workout intensifier I'm going to talk about is a superset. Now, a superset is usually around 2 exercises targeting the same muscle groups performed immediately, one after the other. And generally, we're going to be aiming for between 8 to 15 repetitions on each exercise for around 3 to 4 sets. Examples of these would be, for your lower body, perhaps performing squats and lunges together. For the upper body, perhaps performing push-ups and dips. Now these are bodyweight exercises. Of course, if you have dumbbells or some home gym setup, then you can really go to town with these supersets and do a lot more, as you have a lot more equipment available to you. The next exercise intensifier is what we call a drop set. Now to do a drop set, you are going to need some weights. So either some dumbbells, some home equipment, also even some resistance bands. This is not something you're going to be able to do with just body weight. So the way a drop set works is it's often incorporated into the final set of an exercise in order to take the muscle to complete failure. So you begin with a heavy weight, you perform as many reps as possible. You then lower the weight, and again you do as many reps as possible. Then you lower the weight again to a much lighter weight and perform as many reps as possible. So what you've done is taken the muscle to failure 3 times in 1 set. The next exercise intensifier is what we call a giant set. Now a giant set is similar to a superset in that it generally targets the same muscle group for all of the exercises. The difference between a giant set and a superset is that a giant set, which is kind of implied by its name, includes a lot more exercises. So you're looking at least 3 or more exercises targeting the same muscle group, performed one after the other with no rest in between exercises. Usually we're going for around 8 to 15 repetitions of each exercise, and then once you've completed the full round, you rest and you repeat this whole thing again. This is a great way to intensify your workout. However, I would advise, if you're new to resistance training or you haven't done it for some time, probably giant sets are not something that you would begin by doing, but something you may build up to doing further on down the line. Finally, we have what we call a rest pause set. Now a rest pause set can also be done using body weight or resistance equipment. A rest pause set is where you essentially take the muscle to failure, you rest for 10 to 20 seconds, and then you take it to failure again. You do this 3 times, 3 to 4 times perhaps. So for example, you would do, so for body weight, you maybe do push-ups. I'll use push-ups again as an example. You do as many as you can until you cannot perform another rep. You then rest 20 seconds and you go again. Every time that you re-attempt the exercise, you should be getting less reps than the previous set. Otherwise, the chances are you perhaps didn't go close enough to failure. I hope that you find these exercise intensifying tips useful, fun, and effective. Remember, focus on quality, not quantity.